Let me ask you a question. Are you selling a product or are you selling an offer? Because there's a big difference. A product is the thing you sell, but an offer is the reason someone decides to buy it right now. And today I want to help you start seeing the difference because once you do, your farm marketing gets a whole lot more effective. Let's get started.
Hey there, this is Corinna Bench, and welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast. In today's market, it's not enough to just grow your product. You've got to know how to sell it too. Welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast, where we reveal online marketing strategies and tips to help farmers like you get better and more confident at marketing. Learn how to find more customers, increase your sales, and build a strong brand for your farm. Let's start the show.
Well, welcome to episode 354 of the My Digital Farmer podcast. I'm your host, Corinna Bench, one of the farmers at Shared Legacy Farms out in Elmore, Ohio. I'm also the founder of mydigitalfarmer.com, which is all about trying to help other farmers like you get more confident in your marketing and sales strategy so that you can grow a profitable business. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the show, all of my digital farmers. So glad you're here. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the community. I hope you stick around and find some value. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Go check out my first 10 episodes if you are new to the marketing lingo, because I designed them to be an on-ramp into what we talk about here. You can also get onto my email list by going to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. When you do, I'm going to send you an email every 4 to 5 days for about 3 months. And each of those emails is going to slowly onboard you into the key principles of marketing. I'm going to point to some of the really good podcasts in my archives. I'm going to give you some free workshops, free tools, people you should be following. It's just a really good onboarding email sequence. So I encourage you to get on that. If you find that it's not valuable, you can just unsub, but that'll also make sure that you get notified every time I have a podcast. I'll send you an email every week to say, hey, here's what the topic of the week is, what the podcast of the week is, so that you can kind of decide if you want to come in and listen. So definitely encourage you to do that. Go to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe.
Today's podcast is sponsored by my friends at LocalLine. A new year is the perfect time to streamline your sales and grow more profitably. So if you run a CSA or you sell wholesale or manage both, LocalLine helps you streamline your sales and scale with confidence. In 2025, farms and food hubs that used LocalLine grew their sales by 33%, building on the 23% growth they saw the year before. Average order values increased by 31%, I know mine did, and total order count grew by 9%. Look, real results across operations of all sizes. LocalLine brings everything together in one platform. They have CSA management, wholesale ordering, automated inventory, barcode scanning, a box builder, and POS so that you spend less time managing admin and more time growing your business. And switching couldn't be easier. There are no setup fees, my friends, no sales commissions, and their onboarding team will migrate your storefront for free, taking the workload off your plate, and that usually only takes a few days. As a podcast listener, you'll also get one premium feature for free for a full year when you use the code MDF2026 at checkout. So go to mydigitalfarmer.com/LocalLine and then enter that code MDF2026. Start 2026 organized, efficient, and ready to grow with LocalLine. And now back to the show.
All right, I'm back. Well, happy March. How did that happen? All of a sudden, it's spring. The time change has happened. It's now staying lighter later. Love that, don't you? Whatever your life looks like now, I am wishing all kinds of good vibes, good energy to you. And I'm excited about continuing to invest in you this coming season as you're going through the thick of selling and producing. I'm going to be there with you every week, giving you ideas for how to get better at it, how to get more confident at it, how to get more consistent with your sales. So stick with me. Keep having me in your earbuds. I love recording this every week. And a lot of times I have a plan that I sort of follow, but honestly, it's very common for me to just be inspired by something that happens to me or for me, as I like to say. And then I can kind of share that insight because it feels very raw and real with all of you in the next week's episode. So sometimes I feel like I'm just living out the wisdom that I'm learning in real time as I go with you each week. Today, we're going to be talking about offers. And I want to start out with a statement that might make some of you uncomfortable. If your farm product isn't selling, it might not be because the product is bad. It might not be because your audience is off. It might not even be because your marketing isn't working. It might simply be because you haven't built a good offer around the product yet. And this is something I see quite a bit with the farmers who are inside farm marketing school. When we get on one-to-one coaching calls or sometimes in our monthly Zoom group coaching session, this will be something that I'll notice. Farmers say things like, I'm selling lamb chops. I'm selling dahlias. I'm selling eggs. I'm selling a CSA share. But here's the thing, customers don't buy your products. They buy offers. And today, I want to help you understand the difference. Because once you see it, you'll never look at your farm product list quite the same way again. And it's going to really unlock you and give you some imagination for how you could be pitching these products in a different way to actually get people to want to buy them. But one of the patterns that I notice with farmers, especially when they're newer to marketing or they just haven't learned kind of the principles yet, is that they think in inventory language. What do I mean by that? Okay, so they say things like, I have ground beef to sell, or I'm selling bouquets, I'm selling honey this weekend, or I'm selling CSA shares. But customers aren't thinking in inventory language. Customers are thinking in outcomes. So they're thinking things like, oh, that sounds fun. That solves a problem for me. Or that feels like a good deal. That'd make my life easier if I had that. Or that's perfect for this moment. It's like they're in my head and knew I wanted that. And the thing that bridges those two worlds, the world of inventory language and outcome language, is what I call the offer. So let me give you a simple example so you can see this. Product thinking sounds like I sell $8 bouquets of flowers at the farmer's market. But offer thinking sounds like Friday night date night bouquet, $20, limited to 50 each week. Okay, same flowers, same product, same farm. But the offer framing makes it feel completely different. Do you see that? That's the distinction I'm trying to show you in today's episode. We have to learn how to think in offer language. Customers respond to things like bundles. They respond to timing, to themes and stories and bonuses and experiences and scarcity, urgency language and convenience, transformation, and all of those ingredients together create what's called the offer. So what is an offer in a nutshell? I was trying to figure out how I could create a definition here. And here's the simplest way I know how to explain it. A product is just the thing you sell. It's the thing itself. But an offer is the reason someone decides to buy it right now. So an offer is really just the strategic packaging of your product that makes it easier or more exciting for someone to say yes. And offers usually involve some combination of things like, and I'm going to give you a list here, I actually wrote these down, some combination of things like positioning, bundling, timing, pricing, naming the product, bonuses, urgency, exclusivity, solving a specific problem. So I like to think of it sometimes with a kind of formula where the offer equals the product itself plus some context plus an incentive to buy now. And those can all change. There's so many different variables and variations of this. Let me give you an example. The product would be strawberries if you're a strawberry farm. I know that this is coming up for some of you. The context, though, might be opening weekend you pick. Ooh, now suddenly it changes. This isn't just strawberries. This is like the first strawberries. It's you pick strawberries. Okay, I can like picture that in my mind. That's like an experience. My mouth's already watering and I'm thinking all kinds of love. The incentive in that offer might be a free shortcake kit when you purchase a flat of strawberries after your you pick. You could even sell tickets to be able to you pick. And then on top of that, they have to buy the flat of strawberries, right? And if they do, they get a free shortcake kick. Now, you're not just selling berries, but you're selling a whole experience. And that's the difference that building an offer makes. And this is the kind of stuff that we practice in farm marketing school. Like we need to learn how to get really good at building offers. And in fact, we have an entire project inside of farm marketing school called Build a Better Offer, which is a 4-week challenge. And every week, after I teach you kind of the concepts and the different formulas for offers, like you are challenged each week to build a new offer using some of the formulas and just test them and see how they do. And some of them might quote unquote bomb. Some of them might do really well. And it just forces you to practice being imaginative. But I put that project in there on purpose because I know this is a skill that many of you don't have yet, or you've just never really played around in the sandbox with it. And so just getting kind of a different viewpoint, opening your eyes to see the possibilities can be really exciting. So one of the best ways to train your marketing brain, I tell people all the time, is just to start noticing offers everywhere, because there are examples of offers in the wild in your everyday life. Okay. And I'm going to share a whole bunch of them actually in just a minute. Examples of offers, not even necessarily in the farming world. Okay. You're surrounded by them. And when you start to notice offers everywhere, you're going to realize that businesses rarely just sell the product. They're not just talking in inventory language. They engineer their offers around the product. So let me walk through a few examples that I have personally seen. That's going to be the bulk of the rest of this episode. I'm going to share with you a few examples of offers. And with each one, I want you to notice three things. Okay, you ready? Number one, I want you to notice the base product. Then I want you to notice the offer twist, and then the marketing lesson behind it. Okay, each one of these is going to be cool. And although not all of them are around farming, most of them are. But if they aren't, you're going to be able to see how that could maybe work for your product. I know you are. So here we go. The first one is bundling and variety. Okay, a while ago, I started buying LMNT, which is that's literally spelled capital L, capital M, capital N, capital T. And if you don't know about this yet, they are a sugar-free, truly sugar-free electrolyte drink. So instead of drinking Gatorade or Liquid IV, or because as you know, I'm still going through a health journey, and I am very attuned now to my body. I want to make sure I'm getting electrolytes. And so I was struggling to find electrolytes that didn't have sugar in them. And so I found LMNT. I love them. I now have tried like so many different flavors, but when I first discovered them, I discovered the variety pack. And it appealed to me because, I mean, I could have just bought one box of one flavor, but because they offered a variety pack, it allowed me to try all the flavors in one box and kind of see which ones I liked and which ones I didn't like so much. And then I ended up landing on my two favorites, which are, by the way, the raspberry one, and I also really like the mocha one because it makes me feel like I'm having hot chocolate. Okay, I'm digressing. I'm sorry, I'm getting too personal. The base product. What is the base product there? It's electrolyte packets. What is the offer twist? It's a curated variety bundle. It's just how the company chose to put them together into a box. And what's the marketing lesson? Well, sometimes the offer isn't a discount at all. Sometimes it's just simply bundling the product in a certain way so that it makes it easier for the customer to try it. So I've seen this done with farms where you might see like a meat variety bundle. So a lot of farmers who are in farm marketing school are actually meat producers. And this is a really common thing I see them doing, where they're not just selling individual cuts of chicken, but they're trying to create bundles because it's going to increase their average order value. And then it exposes their customer to many different cuts in that protein mix. And then that allows the customer to decide which ones they like the most. Tomato sampler box is another really great example. Also increases your average order value. Or if you're a flower grower, not just selling one variety or two varieties of flowers, maybe you're mixing a whole bunch of different ones. Or the only way they can get that one flower they really love is when you stick it in with a mixed bouquet. Okay, so that was the first example. Did you see how there was a spin? There was an offer twist. Okay, so let's look at the next one. This one is spend threshold offers. That's kind of how I decided to name it. We just finished our spring plant sale this past weekend. And I'm going to do a whole podcast on that because it was an amazing promotion. Like it was just incredible. I had amazing results. I can't wait to tell you about it. We ran a special offer. I didn't just say, okay, the plant sale's open. You can come buy transplants in our online store for pickup in May. No, I built an offer around it to try and get people stoked. So the offer was this: spend $75 by Sunday night at 10 p.m. and you'll get a free basil herb pot with your order when you pick up in May. My friends, my average order value jumped from $55 last year to, I want to say it was 75. I know it was at least 75. It might have been 79. I got to go look it up again. $20 increase in my AOV. Okay, so what was the base product? It was vegetable transplants. I was selling them as a 3-pack for $6 each. All right. The offer twist, a free product, a free basil when they hit a spending threshold. So, what was the marketing lesson here? Some offers aren't about getting more customers. They're about getting each customer to spend just a little bit more. So sometimes we have a goal of, man, I want to increase my AOV. I want to get my average order value up higher. How can I do that? And there's all kinds of little strategies that you can learn about inside of our marketing school for how to do that. But one of them is to do what I just talked about, create a kind of offer that encourages them to increase their threshold of spending. And I know some of you are like, well, but then what about that cost of the basil plant? My friends, if you are tracking your data and you can see what the average customer lifetime customer value is of your customers, or if you know that your AOV, your average order value for this promotion is going to be around this, and you're going to have this many people buying at that level, you can already predict what your revenue numbers are going to be, and you will be able to see what am I able to give away for free. Like, can I afford the cost of a free product? Like, that's part of the math that I do in my head, right? But if it encourages a $20 jump in AOV, like, absolutely, the cost of that basil plant is probably, I don't know, $1.50. So yes, I'm willing to make that trade every single day. All right, let's look at the next example. This is a scarcity offer. You may have heard me talk about this already. This past January, we did a promotion to pre-sell our chicken bundle shares. We have like a monthly chicken bag. It's a partnership, a collaboration with Anderson Farms in Bowling Green. They produce the chickens. I don't have to do any of that. They sell it to us for wholesale, and then I'm selling these chicken share bags to my customers. We had an amazing experience with them for the first time last year, so we repeated it. We had basically very similar results in terms of sales this year, but we decided to expand our offerings, and now we're beta testing a monthly pork share. Same concept, but Berkshire pork. So because it was a beta test and the Andersons only have so many hogs, like, kind of in the pipeline, they said, well, we can offer 20 shares. That's probably the max we can do this first year. And let's just keep it small to see what customers think, to kind of figure out the ideal mix of products and cuts in that bag every month, and just what might come up as we're fulfilling on the order. So we just have a smaller group of people. So when I was advertising the chicken shares, I was also advertising these pork shares. And I kept talking about, hey, we're really excited about this new thing. Super excited about Berkshire pork. This is why it's so amazing, why it's so good for you, et cetera, et cetera. But we're only going to offer 20. Sorry about that, but here's why. But if you want a pork share, I really encourage you. You've got to go. You've probably got to take care of this in the first 10 minutes, because I have a feeling with a list of 3,000 people getting this email that I'm going to easily sell the pork way before the chicken. Okay, so there was just a lot of just warning people, right? Like, I only got 20 shares, and I was telling people that. I was warning them, this is limited, very limited. It's going to be popular, because it was true. And because when something is limited, people act faster. Okay, they just act faster. And guess what? Yes, we sold out of pork in 10 minutes and had a lot of disappointed people, but also a lot of excited people. Those 20 people who got it were super stoked. And it validated the offer, right? It validated the product. We know that that's a need and that people would buy it. So that's good. But okay, what was the base product? It was a monthly pork share priced at $750. What was the offer twist? It was simply telling people, I've only got 20. I have a limited quantity. Now, 20 is a small number in comparison to the email list that I have of 3,500, right? So for you, you may not have an email list of 3,500 yet. You may have a bigger email list than me, but you may only have 100 people. So, for you, then you might have to limit it to 5, right, in order for that scarcity trigger to fire. But the lesson here is that scarcity is powerful. And sometimes scarcity is engineered by us. You intentionally limit the number. And I want to give you permission to decide in any given promotion that you're going to limit the number of an offer, even if you have more. Sometimes I'll do this with some of my products where I know in the back of my head that I probably have 135, 140 weekly egg shares. But when I promote my CSA renewal in the fall, I tell them I've got 100, 120. This year I said 120. And that's it. Because I know that that's the number where people start to get a little crazy. That's where it starts to feel urgency and scarce. And then I open up those other 20 eggs. If I decide I want to do that, I open them up later in May and dole them out to people who are on my wait list. Okay, but do you see how I purposely held back my full inventory? Because I knew that by doing so, it would look like I had less. And then I just decide, well, for this offer, I'm only going to make 20 available, or I'm only going to make 40 available at this price with this bonus, whatever. And then after that, like, I hold the line, and it's true. They can still maybe buy the product after that, but it won't be at that price and with that bonus. You get to decide that. This is your call. You're running the shots, okay? And you don't need to feel guilty about that. So I've often seen that where businesses will have more inventory. I even know they have more inventory, but they just decide and they advertise the first 20 people who come and take this offer are getting it at this with this offer twist. Okay. All right. So intentionally limit the offer. Oh, there's so much you could do there. Play around with that. All right. Example number 4 is time urgency. Okay. This happened during our recent plant sale. The basil offer, the free basil, if you spend $75, that offer was only good for the first 2 days for the opening weekend. Now, my entire promotion offer, like, I was going to run the plant sale through for an entire 7 days. and then I was going to take it down no matter what happened. So that was sort of the plan. But I told people, if you want the free basil, you got to spend 75 and you have to order before Sunday, because I wanted to know what those numbers, Kurt needed to know what those numbers were. That was one of the reasons, because he's got to start seeding stuff. He needed to know that as soon as possible. But I also wanted to create some scarcity. I wanted people to buy on the first weekend and not wait until Thursday night. And so this is an intentional move on my part. Okay. So Saturday through Sunday night, that time pressure encouraged faster decisions. And guess what? We sold out of inventory by Sunday night. Okay, I have another example of this that isn't a farm product, but it's the same principle, and it's like totally happening to me right now. And so I love it. It's funny when you spot the offer working on you. My son Jed graduating from high school in a few months. Isn't that crazy? So we are now starting to get announcements from the principal about graduation and how to get tickets for graduation. And we have been told that every graduate is offered 2 free tickets to the graduation ceremony. And that if we want additional tickets, they cost $10. And that the tickets go on sale for those extra tickets starting May 1st at 10 a.m. Oh my gosh, can you feel my anxiety building? As soon as I read that email, I was like, what? Because I guess I assumed that graduation was free, number one, and that I would be able to just invite whoever I wanted from my family, because that's how it's worked so far for all my nephews and nieces when we've gone to their graduations. I've never had to pay. They were massive auditoriums, or in some cases the Huntington Center in Toledo. So they were huge. So there was tons of space. I just wasn't even thinking that I would have, to worry about acquiring enough tickets. So I have family, a very large family. Kurt's side of the family is massive. So we've got a tradition of all the cousins coming and the aunts and the uncles. But I also have family. My brother lives in Oregon. He's got 3 kids. My dad, my other brother live in Texas. They are flying out here for the event, right? And it's really important to me, especially that they get to participate and see the graduation ceremony. So to find out that the tickets go on sale at 10 a.m., now I'm like freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, what if I need like 20, I think I did the numbers. I need like 21 tickets. Uh, I don't want to disappoint my family who are flying in to see this moment. Like, I need 21 tickets, and I don't know now if I'm going to be able to get them all. And this is creating like this urgency. Like, I'm going to be there right at 10 a.m., my friends, on May 1st, because I need to get those. Okay. Do you see how what are they selling? They're selling graduation tickets. But what's the twist? Well, they don't even tell me that it's limited, but they suggest it by saying doors open at 10 a.m. So the lesson here is that scarcity can come from quantity, but it can also come from setting the time. Either telling people when the offer opens at a very specific time, or telling you this is only good for a certain number of hours or a certain number of days. So play around with that one. It's very effective. I'm just picturing all of you at the markets. Like, what if you just made it known that this particular product that you brought to the market will only ever be offered from 8 to 9 a.m., period. And even if you have more left over after that, you put it away and you train your customer to come and buy at a certain window. I don't know. There's just potential in there. It would be hard to do the first couple times, but once you train the customer and you hold the line, you're like, nope, not getting it out. Yeah, you could train a customer's behavior. Okay, let's move on. Example number 5, price anchoring. Oh, this just happened to us. So when Kurt and I bought a mattress recently, yes, we just bought a mattress. You guys, we have not bought a new mattress in 15 years. Actually, I think the mattress we've been sleeping on for the last 15 years was given to us by someone. by a customer because we didn't have a lot of money 15 years ago and we couldn't afford a new mattress. Anyway, we finally went and bought a new mattress, and you all need to do this. This is just a little aside. My back pain went away, not completely, but like 80%. It's amazing. We spend 8 hours of our day sleeping on this thing. Like we need to be investing in our mattresses. Okay. So when we went to go and buy this mattress, we came in with a mindset of like we're ready to invest in a good mattress. Okay. So we weren't necessarily looking for a deal. I think that probably helped. But the salesman did something brilliant. And I don't think a normal person would notice this, but because I study marketing, I was kind of looking for it. He had us lie down on the most expensive mattress first. And that mattress was positioned at the very front of the store. There was like a line of them along both sides of the wall. So on either side, there was like one that was with the springs. I forget what it's called. And then there's one that's like got foam on the top. So he had us lie down on the first one of either variety on either side of the room. And then I guess moving down from that direction towards the back of the store, the mattresses got progressively cheaper. And he was really honest about that. He told us that. He's like, I am making you lie down on the most expensive mattress in here, but I'm just doing it. This is our best one. I want to get a sense of which version you like better. Are you more of a foam person or more of the old school with the springs in it? I mean, that's at least what he said. So we laid down on the best mattress first. And that mattress, I think, cost $3,000. It was in that vicinity. And then he showed us the other options and encouraged us to, based on how we responded to that initial lying down and what we thought about it, he kind of pointed us to different ones to try next. And they were successively cheaper, but they were still priced at like, I don't know, $2,200, $2,500. And suddenly that $2,000 mattress didn't feel expensive. Do you know what I mean? Because we had been told that the first one was $3,500, and I think there was like a little shock value, like, oh, we're playing at that table. Okay. And then it just made us feel better about all the other options that were in there. Okay, so what was the base product? A mattress, right? What was the offer twist? It was price anchoring, which is when you lead with the most expensive item first, and then you follow it with things that are slightly less, because that's actually the thing you want them to buy. Most people end up buying the middle tiered priced product when you show them the anchor price. I have a whole episode all about price anchoring that explains the psychology behind it. I'll make sure I link it up in the show notes. It's a really good skill to learn. But here's the marketing lesson. The first price that someone sees becomes the reference point for everything else. And so this is actually a way that you can build an offer, right? In your mind as the salesperson, you know where you want people to land, what product you want them to land on, and what that price is. And in order for someone to feel good about that price, you show them the thing before it that's more expensive. Okay, so just play around with that. That was a fun one. Okay, next one. Lead generation offers. Okay, I once saw a farm in our area, shout out to you, Michelle, offering a free dozen eggs, pastured eggs, if you joined their email list. Now, this was a business that sold chickens, pork, and beef. Okay, so they're a meat producer. But they also had eggs. And eggs tended to be their gateway product. It was a way that they got people to get onto their email list. And I remember when I first saw that offer, because I think they would sell their eggs for, it was at least $6. It might have been $7. And I remember at first I thought, wow, that's bold, because you could have people taking them for a free ride. And I think they occasionally did, but not too often. But then I realized something. The cost of those eggs to the producer might be, I don't know what, like $2, $3. You guys know that better than I do. We don't produce eggs at scale. But if that person, they got their email list, right? They got them on the email list now, right? So they can be emailing them every week. If that person becomes a long-term customer and takes their next first offer of, buy some of our chicken cutlets, or now join our chicken share, or now get try some of our pork, now try our monthly pork bags, right? That person, the lifetime value of that person could be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And so is it worth it to spend $3 to acquire that lead? Again, if you know your numbers and you see the math, probably all day long. So what was the product? It was eggs. What was the marketing twist? Getting them on their email list, right? A free dozen in return for your email address. And the marketing lesson is that sometimes the offer isn't designed to make money today. Sometimes it's just designed to acquire a customer. This is also true when it comes to your gateway offers. I've often seen gateway offers that are lower priced than what they're usually going for, right? The farmer is taking a little bit of a hit. Or grocery stores do this too with loss leaders, where they sell something like 99-cent these clamshells of raspberries. And I'm always like, what? How is that? Like, they are not making money. And then I always feel really sorry for the farmer. But those tactics are designed to get the people in the store, because they know that if they can do that, they're going to put more things in their cart. They're not just going to get the raspberries. They're not just going to buy that first offer, that gateway offer, and never buy from you again. They're probably going to come back. Now, there are going to be a few that don't. Or let me just say, if you notice that you do this kind of thing with gateway offers and your people never come back, that offer is not a good offer then. It's not working for you. The strategy is backfiring, so stop doing it. But in many cases, if you kind of play around with that offer or tweak it a little bit, this is really effective because it causes people to keep coming back. And remember, we make our money not always in the moment. Sometimes we're looking at the big picture, we're looking into the future, and we're seeing the lifetime customer value, and we're willing to take a little bit of a hit in the first and second transaction because it's training the buying behavior. It's creating buying habits, and it turns them into customers who ascend your product ladder and spend more and more and more with you and keep coming back and buying that offer again and again and again. And now you have a loyal customer. Today's podcast is sponsored by Farm Marketing School. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to talk to those of you who are thinking, okay, I get it, Corinna, I need a better marketing system. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know I don't believe in random point and shoot marketing. I don't believe in just posting and crossing your fingers and hoping. And I definitely don't believe in working harder every season just to feel the same stress again. And that's why I created Farm Marketing School. It's my monthly membership where I teach you step by step how to build a connected marketing system for your farm. Not just more ideas or fluff, it's a structure. Inside FMS, we start with a sales funnel audit so that you can map your entire customer journey and see what's working, because you probably have some things that are working and what's missing. And then you build one focused marketing asset at a time. Your weekly email system, your promotion calendar, your product ladder, your lead magnet, your social media plan that actually supports your whole system. And each of these projects is designed as a 30-day finish line. So you don't overhaul everything overnight, you build intentionally to the plan. And over time, those pieces start to connect. And that's when the flywheel starts spinning. That's when revenue feels more predictable. That's when your marketing feels lighter. Farmers inside FMS have told me things like, I finally feel like I'm on the right track, or we saw a huge jump in sales during our slowest months. That's not because of luck. It's because of the structure. So if you're the kind of farmer who has proven that you can grow something, but you're bumping up against the ceiling of now what, this is for you. It's $69 month to month. There's also an annual option if you know you're ready to commit. And you can learn more about Farm Marketing School and join my amazing community of farmers at mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS. All the details for how it works is there. That's mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS. And now back to the show. Okay, let's look at our next example, referral offers. I recently did an episode all about Function Health and the amazing email offer that they sent to me. I'll link that one up in the show notes as well. So, Function Health is a membership that I've purchased because of my whole health journey. It's basically a monthly, excuse me, an annual membership. I want to say it's like $3.99. And in return, twice a year, that pays for these blood tests for some of the most important biomarkers. And many of these blood tests are things that normal doctors don't actually test when they're doing their lipid panels or whatever. Um, and so it's just because I've done a lot of education, I now know what some of the key blood tests are and what they mean. And uh, I really want to know what those are, and I cannot easily get them from my doctor. I now have joined Function Health so that I can get those done. Anyway, I love this program, and I remember getting an email from them that said, if you refer a friend and send them this code, they're going to get a significant discount. Like it was a really good discount that basically would lock them into a membership like mine. So I sent it to my brother, and he ended up joining as well. So what was the product? The product was a subscription, a membership to a uh, function health testing, blood testing kind of program. And what was the twist? Well, it was a significant discount for someone that I referred this product to. So it encouraged me to actually promote the product to someone else and help them find a customer. What is the marketing lesson here? Well, your happiest customers want to be your sales team and could be an amazing sales team for you. So if you built an offer around that intention and that purpose, you could end up expanding your customer base in a really cool way. Again, you have to figure out what does that credit look like or that gift look like that you're giving them as the reward, and it needs to make sense with your numbers. But it also needs to be, I think, attractive enough to the customer to make it worth their while to stop and do the action that you want them to do. I remember when I saw the discount that was offered by Function Health in that original email, the one that I spent a whole podcast talking about, like it was just so generous that it made me stop scrolling. And I took action in that moment. I was like, oh, my brother, oh my gosh, he would totally do this if it was just this price, and this would be so good for him right now. And he did. He took the offer, especially because I talked to him about how I thought it would be a good idea, and he, trusts me and totally took me up on it. So referral offers are another great example. Let's move on to number 8, timing offers. Oh, this one's really good too. Recently, Shutterfly, this is the photo printing company, they mailed me a graduation announcement offer. It was a little card I got in the mail. Like I literally just got this yesterday. It said 10 free cards and 50% off the rest. And I remember thinking, how did they know that I'm going to need graduation cards? I actually kind of forgot that I needed to send these. And then it was a trigger moment like, oh, I've got to like mail announcement cards to people here soon. And then I realized, oh yeah, I uploaded some senior photos and had them printed a couple months ago, and I bet that was what kind of triggered them and tagged me a certain way in their customer base. Um, but here's the lesson from this particular offer twist. Sometimes the offer works because it arrives at exactly the right moment, right? I don't even know if they had to give me a discount. I would have just probably bought because they reminded me it was time to buy graduation cards. And that is what we all do when we have seniors who are graduating, right? Right product, right time. That offer wouldn't have landed if it had been given to me last August. Do you see that? Because I don't need graduation announcement cards in August. I need them now in the month of March. Just like you don't see swimsuits being advertised in September. That is not the time of year for swimsuits, at least in this part of North America. Okay. My last example is something called offer stacking and uh, focusing on the transformation in the offer twist. And this is one that I love. I use it a lot. This is when you pay attention to the messaging a little bit more. When you stack the value of the product so that customers can see the transformation that happens in the 3D world as a result of using the product. So instead of just saying, I'm selling a quarter beef share, you message the product with like a bulleted list of things like 6 months of easy dinners, recipe guides, so you know how to use the meat, premium grass fed protein, so you feel good about your health, freezer organization tips, so you know how to pack it all in, cutting instructions, cooking support, right? Like I don't know what this would look like exactly for that product, but you don't just say the deliverables, the specific features like, oh, this many pounds of meat, but you're using other kinds of phrases that point to why your customer cares. Like, so what? So what that they're getting a quarter beef share? Like, how's their life going to be different because of this? What are some of the things that you give alongside it that are going to allow them to transform and become that next version of themselves, right? The customer can picture their life after the purchase because of the bullet point list, the offer stack that you have put together as part of the messaging. And that's what makes the offer feel irresistible when they read through the bullet points. If you do a good job of writing those bullet points so that they're not just, a features list, but they also include the benefits with each feature, that's what sells. So here's the habit that I want you to build. Start noticing offers all around you. Restaurants do it, clothing stores do it, gyms do it, uh, streaming services do it, phones do it, even the grocery store does it. When you walk into a business, start asking yourself, what's the offer here? Is it a bundle? Is it a bonus? Is it a time window? Is it a loss leader? Is it a referral reward? Is it a transformation promise? Because when you start to see offers everywhere, your imagination as a marketer grows. And that's what I want for you. So here's a simple challenge for you this week. I want you to pick a product in your farm business, just one. And I want you to ask yourself, what offer could I build around this? Not just inventory, not just the product itself, the offer. Because once you start thinking this way, you're no longer just selling food or flowers. You're designing buying opportunities And that's when your marketing starts to get really fun and profitable. All right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. The show notes can be found at mydigitalfarmer.com/354. I'll make sure that I link up those episodes that I referenced. If you liked today's episode, please share it with another farmer. Let's spread the love around and get as many of us as possible learning how to sell. That's how we're going to make more money. And if you want to get onto my email list, I have some free stuff to send your way. It's going to make your marketing stronger. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel like you know what you're doing. Go to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. If you decide you want to come and work with me more intentionally inside of Farm Marketing School this summer while you're actually selling your products and you need support, you guys, I am there for you. I would love to be your coach and a guide and someone that can encourage you and inspire you. So come on in, mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS, even if you just come in for a month or a couple of months because you just really need some support while you're building a promo or whatever, I'd love to be there for you. Don't forget, I'm now also on Instagram at mydigitalfarmer. I show up there with a marketing tip inside of stories most of the time. Love to connect with you there. And thank you for joining me today. It's a pleasure to be in your earbuds, to be coaching you, to be inspiring you, and to have you in my world. Have an amazing week. And remember, I believe in you. Bye bye.